Thanks for jumping on tonight. We appreciate your time. And it shows, you're serious and your dedication about what we're doing with decentralization and what I like to call fighting back against the enemies of wealth, right? We've got all these things that are against us, from inflation to taxes to debt interest to single streams of income and so much more, all these different enemies, and we got to fight back against them. And one of the ways we can do that, of course, is by creating a way to have assets and daily rewards, right, to fight back against inflation and to create a second stream of income and to have tax benefits all in one shot. This is so amazing. That's what we get with the Cirrus Networks opportunity. Is now we're going to be able to, and then actually, I guess the fourth one, right, is debt interest. With the income we're getting, we're going to be able to pay off our debt and not have debt interest, right? So it's kind of all encompassing, which is really, really cool. By starting your own home-based business and having the tools that you get through this decentralization and what we're doing at Cirrus Networks through the Noti blockchain. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to go over what it is that Cirrus Networks is all about and why it's so compelling, why we want to be part of it. Because there's so many cool things going on in the world of blockchain and decentralization, and Cirrus Networks, the way I see it, the way I present it, is that it's bringing all of that to the masses. It's bringing that to the average individual who's heard of blockchain, who's heard of Web3 and crypto and all those things, but really doesn't understand it yet, right? And it's kind of new and different. So let's go ahead and dive in. But before we do, of course, we got to say, we've got a disclaimer here. This is all for education and information. I'm not a financial advisor, and all the things we're discussing here are just products and services that we can take advantage of to, dive into the world of blockchain. But we're not guaranteeing anything or promising anything, and there's no, ROIs or any of that. Okay. But in the end, if you decide to participate with us and be part of the community, there's some great opportunities there. So let's talk about rewards and loyalty. Okay. This is the key thing that I think most everybody, at least I know, loves, right? We love this. We all know and love getting free stuff with loyalty programs. Just the other day, and I didn't put this on the slide, but we went to Bath and Body Works. Why? Because my wife has the app on her phone, and it said something about, hey, if you come in, you've earned enough points to get a free lotion or something, right? And so what did we do? We went over to Bath and Body Works, of course, because you don't want to miss out on that free thing that they're giving away, right? And so it's what has been done now for decades. Companies know this. We are more likely to come back and shop with them if they offer some kind of reward, some kind of loyalty item, whether it's, getting stars at Starbucks, whether it's getting points at McDonald's, right? Whether it's getting Sky Miles at Delta, whatever it is, there are all these things. All the companies nowadays have adopted some kind of loyalty program. Some are better than others, but we love it because who doesn't like getting free stuff, right? So that is what keeps us coming back for more. Now, I got hooked on this, and this is literally almost probably 25 years ago, almost 30 years ago. There's a restaurant here in Utah called Cafe Rio, and it became our favorite Mexican restaurant that we always went to. And part of the reason, besides that their food's really good, is that they had a frequent diner program thing where the punch card, and you would go in, and every time you bought a meal, they would stamp it or click, do a hole punch through it. And when you got 10 meals, then you got your 10th or your 11th meal, I should say, free, right? But it wasn't just that, oh, you have the card, get your little free meal. It was, they gamified it. They made it fun. They had the cashier, whenever you redeemed a free meal, they would shout it. They would shout it, free meal, and the whole line, right? All the cooks and everybody, the people, they were all excited and they all shout free meal, and they made a big deal about it, like recognition, right? And it was so fun. And people, they would literally, they would get the 10 punches on their card and they would like resell them, like, I got a free meal card, I'll sell it to you for $5. Okay. And it was just fun, right? And that's what, besides having the free food, it was the excitement of being part of that. Okay. So, well, yeah. And then ever since then, they've digitized it. They've got it on apps now, right? It's all on your phone and everything. But the future of rewards is changing thanks to Web3, okay, which is blockchain. We have a huge advantage now because if you go to Starbucks, those stars are only good there, right? And the Sky Miles from Delta can only be redeemed at Delta. You can't use them on American Airlines or United or whatever. And the other thing is they expire, right? So ask yourself, what if the rewards that you earned could not only be used on everyday services like mobile and streaming and conferencing and cashback shopping and travel and other things, right, at the place where you get them, but what if on top of all of that you could actually cash them out, convert them into dollars? How cool would that be, right? So that's what we have. Web3, okay, or blockchain, it takes loyalty from an engagement gimmick to an asset. Traditional loyalty points, they fail externally because they're really not backed by anything. They're just a number, right? They're just a coupon, basically, okay? And they're only redeemable internally. The issuer can change the rules. They can expire, all those things. But with a blockchain-based reward, guess what? You now have cash flow linkage because they can now be sold. They could be traded for actual dollars. You have credible redemption guarantees. You can use them internally, right? You can use them to pay for different products and services. And the other really cool thing is because it's tied to a blockchain and tokens, there's this thing called scarcity, right? It's deflationary. They can actually go up in value, which is really interesting. Okay. We've all heard of Bitcoin and we all know the story of Bitcoin, how it started being worth pennies. And then over the years, it would go up and down and up and down, but up and down. But in the end, today, it's still worth way over $60,000 for one Bitcoin, right? What used to be worth pennies. So these rewards that you could be getting could actually be worth money, and not only worth money, but they could grow in value over time. How amazing is that? And because it's based on Web3, the other really cool concept is ownership. So imagine if every Starbucks purchase made you a partial owner of Starbucks. That's what the Web3 model does. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that they do, right? Because that's not what, we're not tied to Starbucks in that sense. But, if the stars at Starbucks were actually a crypto or a token, that could be the truth, right? So that is the model. That's what's so cool about this. All right. So you might be asking that, well, what in the world is Web3, right? Like what Jeremy, you're talking Greek to me here. I've heard of blockchain. I've probably never heard of Web3. What? Explain it. Okay. So here's the idea. Back in the 1990s, when the internet was brand new, right? Just a brand new baby born, okay? And it was what we call read only. In other words, you could go to a web page, right? You could go to www.pets.com, and it was a static page and it would have some information, but you couldn't really interact with it. You couldn't really, they didn't really even have online shopping yet, right? It was just informational mostly in the beginning, okay? But with time, they started to develop what we now call e-commerce and social media, which was now a way for people to participate, right? Where you could actually create your own content and you could, do different things with it and upload things and, and download things, all that stuff. But it was still owned by the corporations, right? Those that owned those whether it was Facebook or Instagram or MySpace, whatever place you're going to, they still control it. Well, the difference is with Web 3, okay, Web 3.0, it is now read, write, and own. You can actually now have ownership because you can have a vote and a say in the blockchain, okay? And so what Web 3 does is it gives power back to the users. So your digital life becomes something you can actually own now, right? Not something you rent, okay? Just think of it that way. You own it instead of renting it, which is really, really powerful. Okay, so another way to think of this is blockchain is now the underlying platform, right? So we're all familiar with computers and phones and how they work, and they all have something called an operating system. So whether it's Windows, right, which was one of the first ones that was interacting. Before Windows, there were others, but the main one that people know is Microsoft Windows, right? Everything running on Microsoft Windows. You got Mac, okay? So if you have a MacBook or just any kind of a Mac device, you've got, whether it's an iPhone, you've got iOS. If it's a computer or a MacBook, you've got Mac OS, which is their operating system. And then for Google, you've got Chromebooks, okay? And they have Chrome OS, or you've got Android on the phones, right? So those are the main ones, right? And so whether it's Microsoft, Apple, or Google, those three companies are some of the largest companies in the world. In fact, Apple is the biggest, Google right around second, Amazon, kind of snuck in there. They don't have an operating system, but they're, e-commerce. But think about that, right? So you've got, Microsoft, Apple, Google. These are the names that we all know. And why? It's because they built the platforms that everything else runs on. And they get around 30% of all the purchases from their different stores. Okay. So it's building that infrastructure. That's what they did. So the question, though, is do they share any of that back to us? Can we be owners other than buying stock? Maybe, you buy stock. But other than that, do you get a share of, revenue when somebody buys apps on the App Store? No, not really, right? And so that is the question. Wouldn't that be cool to be able to have a little bit of ownership and to be rewarded and have some extra value as people started to use the apps and download apps on their phones and stuff? Yeah, that's what we're talking about. That's what blockchain is. Okay, blockchain, a layer one blockchain is kind of like an operating system, but more advanced because it's a digital ledger that tracks all the information that allows different other programs to run on top of it. Okay, other Web3 things, right? And they call those layer twos. It stores transactions. Everything is transparent and secure. But this is the next generation of an operating system because it's everywhere. It's protected. It's backed up. It's secure. It's decentralized. It's transparent. Okay, there's no manipulation. You can't have people committing fraud, basically, right? They can't go in and cook the books. They can't change things around. They can't manipulate things. It's all verified through a peer situation. So everybody involved has a piece of it, and therefore the consensus wins, right? That's what's so neat about this. And because it's all transparent and verified and permanent, we can trust in it, okay? The bottom line is it's trustworthy. It's one ledger, that it's with endless possibilities because those records can't be altered because when something's on the blockchain, we know that it's been approved by all the other peers, and you don't have some corrupt person, that tried to do something fraudulent. They can't. Right? It's impossible. So really, really cool to be part of a blockchain in Web3 because now we have trust We don't, and trust is expensive, right? Usually to get trust, you have to pay for it. You have to, whether you're paying fees to a bank or you're paying, fees to a government or something, some entity that is verifying things for you. Well, now it can all be decentralized. You don't have to depend on any of those things, which is cool. And how do you know which blockchain that you want to be involved with? Because there's lots of them, right? There's about 39, 40 layer one blockchains, which are like the underlying ones. There's thousands of layer two, layer three blockchains out there. But how do you know if they're legit? How do you know if they're projects that are just going to disappear on you? How do you know if it's actually robust and certified? Well, with the Noti blockchain, you can go to GitHub and see all of their repository and all the programming, everything they're doing. You can go to Certic and see that they actually passed a full-on audit that proved that, yes, it's a legit blockchain. It's actually doing what they're saying. You can go scan it yourself with the blockchain scanner at notiscanner.com. And you can go check out what the tokens are doing on CoinMarketCap. To be listed on CoinMarketCap is a big deal. It means that there actually has to be legitimate things happening on your blockchain. So it's legit, it's certified. Like, seriously, less than 10% of all blockchains have all these things. Okay. The rest of them, pretty sketcy. So we're in good hands. So you might be asking yourself at this point, well, okay, this is great. What you told me it sounds interesting, but how does this benefit me, right? How do I get involved with something so technical? Well, there's three ways that you can get involved and take advantage of what we're talking about tonight. And really up to you which way you want to participate and how much you want to be rewarded. But the three ways are ownership, participation, and promotion. Okay. We like to call it living your life and getting rewarded. So by being an owner, you're now hosting what we call a node. Okay. And we'll explain what a node is here in just a minute. So you're playing an important role by actually supporting and securing the blockchain. Okay. You have ownership. You are part of that whole process of verification of things and creating trust, right? And that's pretty cool, right? So also you get to have a voice. There's voting that happens. So in a blockchain, you have something called a DAO, or a digital autonomous organization. And what that means is that, they have a voting portal. You can go in, they have projects and you can vote yes or no on it and everything. And so there's a consensus. It's really fun, right? Really cool to know that you're participating in that way as an owner. Okay. So that's one. Number two is participation and incentives for just being a community member and using the different products and services that are available on the blockchain. Okay. And the third way is then if you want to promote, if you want to spread the word, if you want to be a blockchain ambassador and share the cool news about what Web3 is doing and why it's literally going to change the world. Okay. So you decide which one you want to do, but we're going to talk about each one and its incentives and how to do it. So the first thing being owning. Okay. So owning digital infrastructure means you purchase something called a node. Now, a node it's software. Okay. So just like if you were to buy Adobe Photoshop, or just like if you were to buy an app on your phone, right, for learning a new language or something, right, that you're purchasing some software, but this software is special in that it's programmed to verify the transactions on the blockchain. So you own a piece of it. Okay. You own this node. You are one of many. And the idea is that, okay, we want some that are in the United States and some that are in Canada and some that are in Australia and some that are in Mexico, some that are in Japan, wherever, right? We want it to be all over the world and have ownerships everywhere because that creates redundancy and so on. And by owning a node, and the more nodes you own, the more participation you have, or the more ownership. So you can get one or multiple, right? Just depends on what you want to do. And just for contributing, just for being that voice. Maybe somebody, in Ontario, Canada. Well, okay, thank you for being a voice on the Noti blockchain in Ontario. And maybe somebody down in Colombia, right? Hey, thank you for verifying everything going on and having a backup of the data on the blockchain down in Colombia. Thank you for that. We're going to reward you, right? So ownership pays daily rewards just for providing that service, right? And being an independent voice on the blockchain. Pretty cool. All right. We like to call that being a digital landlord. Okay. Just like if you were to own an apartment complex, right? And you're getting rewarded because you own the building and you have tenants and they're paying rent. Okay. And you're maintaining it and you're paying the taxes on the building and all the different things. Okay. You're the owner and you have tenants, but you get rewarded for providing that for people. Okay. Pretty cool. So digital landlord concept. And to take it to the next level, another concept that you can understand is it's not just verifying transactions, it's also providing power. Okay, so the blockchain needs energy. It needs the energy to exist. It needs the different computers all over that provide that verification stuff, and so you host your node, okay, and that's what provides the lifeblood, you could say, to the blockchain. So you're providing that generator by owning a node, and it powers up the community. Okay, so the network stays strong, the community thrives, everyone grows together, and the more people we have, the more owners we have, the more nodes we have all over the world, the more powerful it is, and the more people are going to want to participate, and the more businesses are going to want to put their services on. Right? It's just like there's another operating system out there that maybe people have heard of called Linux, and it's great. It's a great little operating system, but not a lot of people use it, and so there's not a lot of apps for it, and so there's not a lot of incentive to make apps for Linux. But because a lot of people have Windows and a lot of people have Apple, guess what? All the developers, all the programmers want to make programs and games and whatever for those platforms, right? So the bigger we get, the more node operators we have, there's more usage, and the different governments and businesses and whoever that like blockchain services are going to go, oh yeah, okay, we're going to go with these guys because they're robust and they've got a worldwide presence, right? So how do the rewards work? Well, think of it this way also. So we're talking about infrastructure, right? So kind of like putting up a highway, right? So you have a highway and it's going all across the country. And in certain parts of the country, you can't drive more than a few miles without having a toll bridge or a toll thing, right? And you get one of those passes you got to put in the window and you drive through it and, you're getting billed for that. Well, same thing, right? So when you have a node and there's transactions going on the traffic, that the information highway through the blockchain, well, it's creating tolls, fees, right? Protocol rewards. And as owners, we get a piece of that. Okay, we get rewarded for having created that infrastructure of an information highway. Pretty cool. So we're kind of like toll operators as node owners. Okay, so we keep it running, we keep it going, and we collect the tolls, and everyone moves forward. Pretty fun. Okay, so the other way to think of it is with ownership, it's like just asking that question, right? Do I want to go buy a whole bunch of milk and resell it? Or do I want to own the cow that gives the milk and get paid every time the cow gives milk? Do I want to buy a bunch of apples and go resell them? Or do I want to own the orchard that produces the apples, right? Do I want to get a whole bunch of corn and go resell it? Or do I want to own the field where the corn grows and get paid on all the corn that's growing? Or do I want to have the golden eggs? Or do I prefer to own the goose that's laying those golden eggs all the time, right? That is the question. So with node ownership, it's an owner, okay? You own it, and then it produces for you every single day, which is fun. All right. Second way to participate is through what we call just participation, okay? or usage of the different products and services on the blockchain. So we like to call these micronodes, X1 micronodes. Why? Because instead of just having an ownership of a node that's just providing power to the blockchain, we have actual products and services that people are using all the time anyway. And the great thing about that is those same products and services that people are using anyway now also pay out daily rewards just like a full node does, okay? Which is really interesting. But not only that, it's not just having the product and service that pays you daily, it's using it too, right? So actual usage of the products and services creates even more rewards for you. Going back to that whole thing about loyalty, and you going to Cafe Rio 10 times and getting a free meal, guess what? Now we're using the different products and services and we're getting more rewards, right, for the usage. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what's available now and what's coming. So currently we have real products with real utility, things that people are actually paying for currently on a daily or monthly basis anyway, right? We've all heard of Dropbox. We've all heard of iCloud. We've all heard of Google Drive. We've all heard of Microsoft OneDrive. There's a bunch of different cloud storage programs out there. Well, guess what? Node blockchain has one called Safe, okay? Data storage, where you're getting a whole bunch of storage for your files and pictures and those kinds of things. Everybody's heard of Zoom. We all talk about getting on a Zoom and doing meetings, virtual meetings with people, okay? And there's paid versions of Zoom, right? People that need to go past 40 minutes, and people that want to have more than just however many people can be on at a time in Zoom, and that want to be able to have storage for their recordings of their meetings and everything like that, okay? Well, Meetin is Node powered, because not only does it let you do your meetings, but you're getting paid daily for doing meetings. And then you got things like travel programs, right? People pay for travel clubs and travel memberships and other things like that, or discount clubs, coupon type clubs, and people pay for them. They want to get discounts. They want to get good deals on booking travel or going shopping or whatever. Well, so all of these things can be Node powered, and all of these are live right now. We like to call it the blockchain mall, okay? So it's a digital mall. We've got Safe, we got Meetin, we got Stacks Travel, we got Stacks Daily Instant Discounts, and this is just the beginning. This is, hey, we built out this mall now, right? Our blockchain is our mall, and now we're starting to add the stores into the mall, and little by little, we're going to have more and more that are going to be super fun, okay? So it creates two kinds of utility, right? So you have product utility, meaning these are products that we use anyway, okay? People are doing Zooms all the time. People are saving their files into cloud storage all the time. People are booking travel all the time. There's real utility there. And if you can have that kind of utility that's really good at a good price, great, right? That is a successful product. But then you add to it by having the token utility, right, which is the reward system, the now Web3 powered loyalty program tied to each of these programs. And guess what? Now it's not just usable, right? It's actually expanding and growing in value, which is really, really unique, really something that's never been done before. And we get to be the first ones to do it. So a little bit more about Safe. 6 terabytes of storage. The next closest thing out there is you got the Google Drive for about the same price, $10 a month. It's only going to give you 2 terabytes of storage. Okay, you're getting 6. You're getting 3 times the storage with Safe that you would get with Google Drive, and it's more private, more secure, all of that. So amazing, amazing value. You've got Meetin, which is what we're using right now. This very second, we're actually doing a Meetin, right? And you got 3 times as many attendees. You've got unlimited branded meetings and webinars. You got 10 times the storage for your recordings. You've got 2 bonus meeting rooms. You've got no limits. You've got language translation. You've got teleprompters. You've got call to action buttons. You got all these things that if you were to add all of those on to Zoom, it would cost you well over $150 a month and even up to $500 a month, depending on which things you got. Okay. Really huge value here with Meeting. Okay. Really, really cool. And then with the stacks, right? The travel, daily instant discounts, next gen financial platform that combines all kinds of savings, discounts, and blockchain rewards, right? All in one. Super, super fun, because you might say, well, I don't travel that often. Maybe I only go on 1 or 2 trips a year. Or, you know what, I don't really go out to eat all that much, but maybe, once or twice a month, right? Well, guess what? Doesn't matter if you're using it today or not, you're still getting rewarded every single day, which that is the key thing. So even if you use it just a few times, you're saving money, right? You can definitely save more than what it costs. And those daily rewards are, coming in, right? It's really, really cool. Here's just one example. Okay. So let's say you need to go on a trip to Japan and you got to stay in Tokyo and you want to stay at the Marriott. Well, I did some comparisons. Okay. So the Marriott right there, downtown Tokyo, direct from their website, $3,259 for that trip from June 5th to June 14th. Well, Orbitz, Expedia, Priceline, yeah, they had a little bit of discount, right? A little bit cheaper. But with Stacks, it was the biggest discount. It was only $2,504, saving almost $800. Huge, right? Just that one trip by itself more than made up for it. But then on top of that, daily rewards. Super cool. Okay. And then you got your daily instant discounts. So even just going out to dinner, going to Subway, getting a Subway sandwich, going to Target and buy your groceries, all kinds of ways to save money, right? I personally have saved probably over $100 now on my different Stacks things I've done, going out to Texas Roadhouse and with Subway and Target and Petco. There's like a bunch of them I've saved all this money on. So super fun. And then we're getting those daily rewards as well. Okay. So let's talk about how many rewards you get. If you have a Cirrus Safe subscription for just $10 a month, you're getting 20 daily rewards. And if you tell somebody about it, you just say, hey, you should check this out. This is really cool. This is a great place to put all your videos and your pictures and stuff and make sure they're safe. You're going to get 200 rewards just for telling somebody about it and they sign up. Okay. What about with Meeting? What are you getting? You're getting 40 daily rewards just for having it. But then if you tell somebody about it, you're going to get 400. And then if you host a meeting like I'm doing right this second, I'm getting 10 rewards for every meeting that I host, maximum 30 per day. And on top of that, just the first time I log into it, I'm getting 200. The first time I watch the intro video, I get 200. And the first time I add a widget like a presentation, I'm getting another 200 rewards just for the activity. Super fun. And then with Stacks, you're going to get rewards on top of the daily rewards that you get. You are also going to get rewards on your spending. So if you buy a gift card to Texas Roadhouse, you buy a gift card to Subway, you buy a gift card to Target, you book some travel, right? You're going to get 100%. You're going to get 1-to-1. Every dollar you spend, you get a reward. But not only that, if you refer other people, if you tell somebody about this and they get Stacks and they use it, guess what? When they buy a gift card for $100, they get 100 points or 100 rewards, and you get 50. You get 50% of all their purchases. Everything they do, they book some travel, they go to Starbucks, whatever it is, guess what? They're getting rewarded, and so are you. You get 50% of whatever they buy. How cool is that? Right? And coming soon, they're going to have AI travel planning assistance. They're going to have AI spending analysis, and they're going to have a Visa card attached to allow you to then spend those rewards that you're getting. So you can go anywhere that Visa is accepted and spend the rewards that you're getting. It's so, so fun. All this coming soon. Don't have a specific date on it yet, but in the near future. And then Venmo, right? Venmo increases it by another 50% if you use that. So cool stuff happening in the world of stacks. So now you might be thinking, well, I want all of it, right? I want the safe and the meeting and the stacks. Like I want to get everything, right? Can I bundle them together? And of course, yes, you can. You can get what we call the Omni subscription, which is a $60 value, because if you add them up, stacks is 30, right? Meeting is 20, and safe is 10. So you'd have $60 a month if you bought each of them individually. But if you bundle it into the Omni subscription, now you're getting all three for just $49.95. You're saving $10, and you're increasing the amount of daily rewards you're getting to approximately 120. Okay, so pretty cool stuff. Now, you might also think, you know what, I want to boost how many rewards I'm getting. I want to make sure I got the maximum amount of rewards every day. I love this concept, right, of getting paid daily. So guess what? You can do what we call our Omni Plus, which adds what we call our DRP booster on there. So for $99.95 a month, same thing, you're saving $10 because that booster is a $50 value, okay? So you're getting now 220 daily rewards. You've doubled it, right? For just an additional $50. Pretty good, okay? So your ratio is like really awesome at that point. And the other thing it does is now if you want to participate in the compensation model, it allows you to do so at full throttle. And we're going to talk about that here in just a second. So what else is coming? Well, we've got additional powerful, what we call SaaS products, right? Software as a service products that are going to be continuing to be added to the ecosystem. And they've got a whole whiteboard full of things we know of, from cellular service, right? Mobile service, to rideshare service, to there's all kinds of things they're thinking of and figuring out how to put into the blockchain that can be tokenized or can be turned into reward producing services, right? So all of these things are going to be coming over the next few months and years, and it's going to be super fun. We're going to get to a point where we're going to question and go, wait a second, is that thing that I'm paying for tokenized over there? If not, I'm going to switch, right? Why? Because the ecosystem is expanding, right? Businesses want blockchain infrastructure. Groups are exploring partnerships. The adoption of blockchain is accelerating. More and more businesses are going to come onto the Web3. Just like back in the 90s, companies were scrambling to get a website, to get a .com, right? Same thing now. Companies are realizing, oh, I've got to get my loyalty program into a blockchain. I've got to because the whole world is going this way. Banks, governments, other, retail, all the different things are adopting some form of blockchain and tokens in some way. Literally by the end of this year, 2026, I can almost guarantee you will see that there are crypto tokens in your bank account and crypto tokens everywhere you go. It's moving fast, and we get to be part of it. So I like to call it the triple advantage, because not only do we have better products, right? They're offering more, they have more stuff, they're better priced, okay? But then the key component is better rewards. The same thing that you're getting elsewhere with more features and rewards to it, it's now a no-brainer. It's something that we all want to be part of. So because it's so exciting and because we love it and it's just so fun, we're going to want to share it, right? And so that's now brings us to the third way to participate, which is through promotion, or what we like to call relationship marketing. Because a Noti member or being part of Cirrus, you can choose to now be an associate or an affiliate, okay? When you introduce the concept of these amazing products and services and node ownership to other people, they're going to now pay you, okay? You're going to be able to earn dollars, actual commissions, just for word of mouth, just for sharing it, right? Just like when you go and tell somebody about an amazing movie you just went and saw, right? The movie theaters don't pay you for sharing the word. And if you went and ate at an amazing restaurant, so good, and you told some friends about it, well, that restaurant isn't going to pay you because you told some friends about it and they went and ate, right? No, they don't do that. But here at Cirrus, they do, right? When you tell somebody how cool Meetin is or how cool the Stacks program is, you're going to get paid the following Friday. It's super fun. And this is how it's done nowadays. In fact, Gen Z, 25% of Gen Zers, right, the younger generation, they don't watch TV. They don't listen to radio, right? They don't look at billboards really. They get most of their stuff from TikTok and Instagram and online and stuff, right? Somebody told them about it. Some influencer shared it with them, and that's how they get their information. And so that's what we want to do. We want to be the one that has the influence and shares it with our friends and family, because then they're going to subscribe. They're going to have a good experience. They're going to love the product because it's better and it's cheaper and they're getting rewarded, right? And so are we, but in dollars because we shared it. So how does that work? Well, it's the now money, right? Because the tokens, yeah, they're great, but the idea is that they're going to hopefully grow in value over time. So for right now, we want to get paid in dollars, right? We want to be able to earn some commissions and, weekly and monthly. So simple as this: join for free, earn 20% commissions on all the orders. Doesn't matter. Anybody that you invite and they buy a node or they get one of the subscriptions, guess what? You're going to get paid on that the following Friday. For example, if somebody bought a full node, you would get paid $360 the following Friday. It's super cool. Okay. And then the other cool thing about it is it just kind of grows, right? Because you might tell a few people, and then they might tell a few people, and then they might tell a few people, and it just kind of starts to go viral, right? It starts to grow, organically here and there, a few people telling people over there and over here, and next thing you know, months and weeks go by, and you have a whole organization, a team of maybe dozens or hundreds of people, and you get to earn money on all of it, right? Every time somebody in your whole group pays a subscription or buys a node or whatever, you're going to get paid on that. Okay. And you combine that with the daily rewards from your own nodes, and guess what? You're basically getting paid daily. It's really, really cool. Okay. So the big question is, why now? Right? Why not wait until there's more services coming out, when the cell thing comes out or when other things come to the blockchain? Why not wait until more people have adopted it? Well, because you always want to get ahead of the wave, right? Where mass fortunes are made is people who see it first and get ahead of it and take advantage, right? Because once the masses have adopted it, it's too late. It's usually too late. Okay. We want to take advantage of that. We're in early in the beginning with our triple threat. Okay. So it's all about the timing. It's all about the fact that countries all over the world are adopting this whole tokenization thing, Web3. The country of Cyprus right now is literally 100% blockchain, everything. Like the whole government, even their elections are all on blockchain now. It's amazing. And even here in the United States, it's happening. We're seeing it. The stock market, guys, the stock market will go on chain, on blockchain this year, right? They're going to start testing it in July, and by the fall, it should start to tokenize different stocks. It's happening, and we get to be ahead of it, right? Blockchain is accelerating, and Cirrus is brand new. We're only about a year old, okay? And we're starting to grow all over the world. It's so fun. So we don't want to get left behind, right? Digital assets are gaining legitimacy. Tokenization is happening all over. Countries don't want to be left behind. And everything from science to healthcare to manufacturing, retail, education, media, logistics, energy, all of it. All those things are going onto a blockchain, and we will see it over the next few years. Everything it will, just like today, everything is online. And back in the 90s, we couldn't imagine that. right? But now, if you're not online, if you don't have an app on your phone, then you're behind, right? You're getting left behind. So it's the same thing. All the things are going to be on a blockchain at some point. It's super cool. It's just a massive transformation. It's like literally one of the biggest changes that we will ever see in our lifetimes, right? And the first one was, the computer industrial thing back in the 80s, and then the internet in the 90s. Well, guess what? We're at this next big thing that adoption is just accelerating. And we have that privilege of being part of it. So don't hesitate. Be grateful that you are part of the 8% that are hearing about this, right, before the masses, because most people, they've maybe heard the term of blockchain. They don't know what it is, though. They have no idea, right? Few people understand what it is. And that's the beauty of Cirrus, and what we're doing is that we're getting the word out. We're telling people about how cool this is and how they can position themselves for what is going to be a huge, huge thing. So we're just getting started. You are early. Congratulations. The momentum is real. The future is unfolding. The best is just ahead. We're going to go build this together as a Cirrus Networks community and as Noti community members. So how do you get started? Simple. Step one, just sign up. It's free. It's completely free to sign up. Okay. We're not asking for any money at all. Just sign up for free, get positioned as part of Cirrus. Then you're going to pick a bundle. Okay. You can do, it's optional, but if you want to, use it, why not? Right? You want to start earning rewards and everything, of course. You're going to want to pick your bundle, whether that's safe for $10 or you want to do meeting for 20, or you want to get an omni bundle for 50, whatever you want to do. Okay. That's how you start earning the rewards, is, using the products. Okay. And then start sharing. Just start telling some people about it. Hey, this is cool. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm involved in. And you start to get those dollars, right, on top of the rewards. It's that simple. It's not hard at all. So the future's now. Secure your place, because we're taking this on the road. We're sharing this all across the country and all across the world. We're embracing this sovereignty that comes with decentralization and, fighting back against the centralized, whatever it is, banks and governments and others that, conglomerate all the power to get. No, we're taking it back. We're saying no to the big tech companies, and we're saying yes to our own futures. And again, you can be a digital landlord with daily reward payout for as little as $10 per month. And then you can add an extra stream of income to your life just by spreading the word. So that is Cirrus Networks, my friends. Thanks for jumping on tonight. Hopefully that was helpful, made it simple to understand. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. We're here to answer anything. We're in Telegram and WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger and all over the place, right? We're available. So whatever you need, let me know. And I will get this recording out to those that weren't able to jump on tonight, so you can share it with your friends and family, whoever else. But hey, I'm excited, and you should be too. So thanks again, and we will see you all on the next one. Take care, everybody.